Gather around, listeners, and let the wilderness whisper its secrets to you. Deep in the forests, swamps, and mountains of North America, where shadows dance and the unknown lingers, stories of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the elusive giant, continue to captivate and unsettle. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO, meticulously documents these encounters, sifting through tales of wonder and fear to bring us credible reports of a creature that defies explanation. From the misty peaks of Washington to the tangled mangroves of Florida, I've scoured the latest BFRO database entries to bring you 8 spine-chilling, detailed accounts of recent Bigfoot sightings, each one crafted to pull you into the heart of the wild. These stories, rooted in reports from September 2024 to April 2025, are filled with vivid details to keep you on the edge of your seat, wondering what lurks just beyond the trees. So, dim the lights, lean in close, and let's venture into the realm of the unknown together. 1. The Midnight Howl in Washington's Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, April 2025, Class A, deep in Washington's Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, where towering pines and dense undergrowth swallow the moonlight. A lone camper named Sarah found herself face to face with the unexplainable in April 2025. It was just past midnight, and the air was thick with the scent of damp earth and cedar. Sarah, a seasoned outdoors woman, had set up her tent near a secluded creek, her campfire casting flickering shadows on the trees. She was sipping hot coffee, savoring the quiet, when a sound shattered the stillness, a deep, guttural howl that seemed to rise from the earth itself. It wasn't a wolf's cry or a coyote's yip. It was something primal, reverberating through the forest like a warning. Sarah froze, her breath catching in her throat. The howl came again, closer this time, followed by the unmistakable crunch of heavy footsteps on the forest floor. Whatever it was circling her campsite, moving with purpose. Her heart pounded as she gripped her flashlight, its beam trembling as she swept it across the darkness. Then she saw it, a massive, shadowy figure, easily 7 feet tall, standing just beyond the firelight. Its silhouette was humanoid but impossibly broad, with long arms and a head that seemed to blend into its shoulders. Its eyes, reflective in the dim glow, locked onto hers for a fleeting moment before it turned and melted into the trees. The footsteps faded, but the air felt heavy, as if the creature's presence lingered. At dawn, Sarah searched for tracks but found only disturbed underbrush, no prints, no proof, just the unshakable feeling of being watched. Washington, with over 2,000 BFRO reported sightings, is a Sasquatch stronghold, and Sarah's encounter adds a haunting new chapter to its lore. Could this have been the same creature that's roamed these forests for generations, or was it something else entirely? The question lingers, as does the chill of that midnight howl. 2. The Roadside Giant of Northern California, March 2025, Class A. Imagine driving through the fog-shrouded wilderness of Northern California's Klamath National Forest, where the towering redwoods seem to guard ancient secrets. It was March 2025, and Tom, a long-haul truck driver, was navigating the lonely curves of Highway 96 under a heavy mist. The clock read 9 p.m., and the world outside his cab was a blur of gray and green. Suddenly, his headlights caught something on the road ahead, a massive figure stepping out of the fog. Tom slammed on the brakes, his rig screeching to a halt as the creature stood frozen in the beam. It was no bear. Standing at least 8 feet tall, covered in dark, matted fur, the figure had a human-like face with deep-set eyes that seemed to pierce through the windshield. Tom's hands shook on the steering wheel as the creature tilted its head, studying him. For a heart-stopping moment, their eyes locked, and Tom felt an eerie intelligence in its gaze. Then, with a fluid motion, the figure turned and vanished into the redwoods, its long strides swallowing the distance. Tom sat there, engine idling, his mind racing. He'd driven this route for years, seen bears and elk, but nothing like this. Scrambling for his phone, he tried to snap a photo, but the fog and darkness yielded nothing. When he finally stepped out to investigate, he found only a faint, musky odor lingering in the air, no tracks on the asphalt, no trace of the giant. Northern California's 1,600-plus BFRO sightings, especially around the Klamath region, suggest this wasn't a one-off. Was it Bigfoot, the same creature tied to the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film shot nearby? Tom's encounter, raw and vivid, fuels the mystery of what roams these ancient forests, waiting just beyond the headlights' reach. 3. The Wood Knocks of Pennsylvania's Allegheny National Forest, February 2025, Class B. In the snow-dusted depths of Pennsylvania's Allegheny National Forest, a group of 4 hikers, Jake, Maria, Ethan, and Lila, set out for a winter trek in February 2025, unaware they'd stumble into a Bigfoot mystery. The forest was silent, the kind of quiet that blankets the world after a fresh snowfall, with only the crunch of their boots breaking the stillness. They were deep in the woods, miles from the nearest road, when a sharp, deliberate crack echoed through the trees. It wasn't a branch snapping under snow, it was rhythmic, like someone striking a tree with a heavy log. 3 loud knocks *, then silence, followed by 3 more. The group stopped, exchanging uneasy glances. Bigfoot researchers, including those at BFRO, believe these wood knocks are a form of Sasquatch communication, and Jake, a cryptozoology enthusiast, whispered the possibility. As they stood, a foul, musky smell wafted through the air, like wet fur mixed with decay. The hairs on Maria's neck stood up as she scanned the dense pines, catching a fleeting glimpse of movement, a dark shape shifting behind a tree, too tall and upright to be a bear. Ethan raised his binoculars, but the figure was gone, leaving only the echo of those knocks. The group pressed on, their nerves frayed, feeling eyes on them from every direction. They found no tracks, but the oppressive sense of being watched clung to them until they reached their car hours later. Pennsylvania's 1,300-plus BFRO reports include similar eerie encounters, and this one, with its chilling knocks and phantom presence, leaves you wondering, was it a prank of the mind, or did these hikers cross paths with something truly wild in the Allegheny's frozen heart? 4. The Ohio Grassman's Shadow, January 2025, Class A. In the frostbitten fields of rural Ohio, January 2025 brought a chilling encounter that left a farmer named Ben questioning everything he thought he knew. It was just before dawn, the sky a pale gray, when Ben stepped out to check his livestock. His farm, nestled near a winding creek, was quiet except for the nervous whining of his dogs, who refused to leave the porch, a first in their loyal years. As Ben crossed a field, his flashlight beam caught something at the edge of the woods. A towering figure, at least 7 feet tall, swaying slightly as if testing the air. Covered in reddish-brown fur, the creature locals call the Ohio Grassman had a broad chest and long arms that hung almost to its knees. Its eyes, dark and intense, locked onto Ben's, radiating a quiet menace. Ben stood frozen, his breath visible in the cold, as the creature took a single step forward, its massive foot sinking into the mud. Then, with a low huff, it turned and strode into the forest, snapping branches in its wake. Ben's legs felt like lead, but he forced himself to approach the spot, finding a single, 16-inch footprint with distinct toes, pressed deep into the creek bank. He cast it with plaster, hands trembling, and later shared it with BFRO investigators, who noted its similarity to other Grassman tracks. Ohio's dense woodlands have long been a hotbed for such sightings, and Ben's story, complete with that eerie stare and tangible evidence, adds a gripping chapter to the Grassman's legend. Was this a glimpse of a hidden species, or a trick of the pre-dawn light? The footprint and Ben's shaken voice suggest the former. 5. The skunk ape sighting in Florida's Everglades, December 2024, Class A. The Florida Everglades, a labyrinth of mangroves and murky waters, is a place where the line between myth and reality blurs. In December 2024, a kayaker named Mia ventured deep into this swampy wilderness, her paddle slicing through the still, tea-colored water. The air was thick with humidity and the buzz of insects, but an unnatural silence fell as Mia rounded a bend. A rancid smell hit her first, like wet fur mixed with rotting vegetation. Then, through a gap in the mangroves, she saw it. A lanky, 6-foot creature wading through the shallows, its dark, stringy hair dripping with water. Known as the skunk ape, this Everglades legend moved with a strange, deliberate grace, its long arms trailing in the water. Mia's heart raced as the creature paused, turning its head to reveal a flat, almost human face with deep-set eyes that seemed to bore into her soul. She fumbled for her phone, snapping a blurry photo as the skunk ape let out a low, guttural grunt. In a flash, it crashed through the mangroves, sending birds scattering and leaving a trail of bent branches. Mia paddled back to safety, her hands shaking. The image of those eyes burned into her mind. She reported the sighting to the BFRO, who noted the Everglades history of skunk ape encounters, often accompanied by that telltale stench. Mia's photo, though grainy, shows a dark shape against the green, fueling debate among researchers. Was this a true glimpse of Florida's elusive creature, or a trick of the swamp's deceptive light? The Everglades keep their secrets, but Mia's story will haunt anyone who ventures into its depths. 6. The Fouke Monster's tracks in Arkansas. November 2024, Class B, in the rugged Ouachita National Forest of Arkansas, where dense pines and rocky creeks create a maze of wilderness. A hunter named Caleb stumbled upon evidence of the legendary Fouke monster in November 2024. It was a chilly morning, and Caleb was tracking deer along a remote creek when he noticed something odd. A line of massive, human-like footprints, each over 14 inches long, pressed deep into the muddy bank. The prints were fresh, with clear toe impressions, far too large for any human or bear. As Caleb crouched to examine them, a low, guttural grunt echoed from the thicket ahead, followed by the snap of a branch. His rifle raised, he scanned the trees, but saw nothing, yet the air felt charged, as if something massive was watching. Heart-pounding, Caleb followed the tracks until they vanished into a tangle of briars too dense to navigate. The grunts came again, now from a different direction, circling him. Fear overtook curiosity, and he retreated, the oppressive sense of being stalked clinging to him until he reached his truck. Back home, he contacted the BFRO, who confirmed similar Fouke monster reports in the area, often linked to tracks and eerie vocalizations. Arkansas's history, including the 1972 Fouke Monster film, paints this region as a hotspot for the creature. Caleb didn't see the beast, but those footprints and haunting grunts left him convinced something ancient roams the Ouachita's shadows. What left those tracks, and why did it feel so close yet stay hidden? The mystery endures, as does the chill of that lonely morning. 7. The Sierra Sounds Echo in Nevada, October 2024, Class B, high in the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains of Nevada, where granite peaks pierce the sky and pine forests stretch endlessly. A group of backpackers, Lena, Mark, and their two friends, experienced a night they'll never forget in October 2024. They'd pitched their tents in a remote meadow, the stars blazing overhead, when a strange sound jolted them awake around 2 a.m. It was a series of howls and chatter, like a conversation in an unknown language, neither human nor animal, but eerily intelligent. These Sierra sounds, first recorded in the 1970s and studied by BFRO researchers, are believed by some to be Sasquatch vocalizations. The group huddled in their tents, flashlights trembling, as the sounds seemed to circle their camp. Lena, the group's leader, whispered about Bigfoot lore, her voice barely steady. The vocalizations grew louder, interspersed with heavy footsteps that shook the ground. Mark peeked out, catching glimpses of dark shapes moving among the pines, too tall and upright for bears. The air carried a faint, musky odor, adding to the group's unease. For nearly an hour, the eerie symphony continued, stopping abruptly as dawn approached. At first light, the backpackers searched for tracks but found only scuffed earth and broken branches. The BFRO notes that such vocalizations are rare but significant, often linked to Sasquatch activity. Lena and her friends left the Sierras shaken, their story adding to Nevada's growing tally of unexplained encounters. Were those sounds a primal language, or just the wind playing tricks? The Sierra Nevada holds its secrets tight. 8. The Oregon Trailside Terror, September 2024, Class A, in Oregon's Siuslaw National Forest, where ancient Douglas firs tower over misty trails. A trail runner named Alex faced a heart-pounding encounter in September 2024. It was late afternoon, the golden light filtering through the canopy as Alex jogged along a remote path, his footsteps rhythmic against the dirt. Suddenly, the ground seemed to vibrate with heavy thuds behind him, like something massive was keeping pace. He slowed, glancing over his shoulder, and his blood ran cold. A towering figure, easily 8 feet tall, loped along the tree line, its dark, shaggy fur blending with the shadows. Its long arms swung in a fluid, almost human rhythm, and its head turned toward Alex, revealing a face both ape-like and eerily intelligent. A low, rumbling growl vibrated through the air, sending Alex sprinting down the trail, his heart hammering. He didn't dare look back, but the thuds grew louder, closer, before fading into the forest. When he finally stopped, gasping for breath, he was alone, but the memory of those piercing eyes and that guttural sound clung to him. Alex reported the sighting to the BFRO, who noted Oregon's 1,000-plus sightings, particularly in the Siuslaw's dense wilderness. He found no tracks, but a nearby hiker later reported hearing similar growls that evening. Was this a true Sasquatch, or a fleeting illusion born of adrenaline and twilight? Alex's vivid account, backed by Oregon's rich Bigfoot history, suggests something real and terrifying lurks in those woods. These 8 encounters, drawn from the BFRO's latest reports up to May 2025, weave a tapestry of mystery and wonder that stretches across North America's wild places. From the haunting howls of Washington to the fleeting glimpse of Oregon's trailside giant, each story pulls us deeper into the enigma of Bigfoot. Whether you believe in Sasquatch or chalk it up to the mind's tricks, these accounts, rooted in real reports and vivid details, remind us that the wilderness still holds secrets, waiting to be explored. So, the next time you're in the woods, listen closely. You never know what might be watching from the shadows. For the latest sightings, visit www.bfro.net and dive into the unknown yourself.